Wrote This Shit is a comedy podcast where three friends talk about bad books. Opinions are subjective, but if we hurt anyone's feelings, we are sorry in advance. Also, there are times where we talk about graphic and explicit content, so listener discretion is advised. Okay, welcome to Who Wrote This Shit, where three friends drink bad wine, talk about bad books, and talk about why we make these bad decisions. Also, spoilers, we will ruin the endings of these books for you. Who are we? I'm Erin.
I'm Hope.
I'm Juniper.
And we're reviewing
And we
these
are
books with slightly better audio than before, and we apologize profusely for how the first episode sounded. We have a stand microphone now. It's all good.
Yes, we can both record our inputs, so it'd be easier for me to edit this later.
But now it picks up everything.
Get your fucking hand off that.
Yes, it does. Okay, so this episode, we read Monster Whisperer by J.B. Trepagnier. Yep.
Sure did.
Sure did. So, we read it. So I gotta pick the wine this episode. And I picked Yellowtail Chardonnay with the 13.5% alcohol content. And it is made, or it's from, Australia / Southeastern Australia. And it has a 3.2 stars on vivino.com. While I was looking up this wine, I found a really good review for it. And Hiccup McMillie Masterson gave it a 1 star. And he says, "Show enough not to fodder this wine. Went through 3 pairs of my best drawers at one wedding. Me and my Unc Simp crashed after we each pounded about 2 of these each."
Jesus Christ. 2 bottles, which are 750 milliliters, which is quite a bit.
Yeah, this is a big boy.
Smells like
So it's supposedly
gasoline.
Well, it smells like...
Yeah, it's supposedly rich and vibrant with fresh peach and melon flavors and a hint of vanilla.
I don't smell any of that. I smell
I kind of get
cheap white wine with a hint of diesel.
Erin, your face after you sipped the wine.
It's really bad. I think I liked the aluminum flavor from the last episode better than this.
Not as terrible as I thought it was gonna be.
No.
I thought it was gonna, like, kind of get stuck in the back of my throat. Like, you know how sometimes you can, like, you smell it when it's just stuck in the back of your nose? Kind of like if you're sitting at a gas station and you're inside the car and somebody drives up, starts pumping their diesel truck, and all of a sudden you just start smelling all that diesel. That's this.
I think it tastes better than it smells, because definitely, like, it tastes, the aftertaste is definitely rubbing alcohol, but your first taste is pretty fruity, I guess. I don't get peach or vanilla or any of that, but it tastes like a wine.
I get like melon rind.
Peach rind?
I don't...
It's like, okay, I'm gonna add on to the diesel exhaust.
The little crusty bits on a little diesel can that's been sitting for way too long. You know, when everything just settles to the bottom.
Yeah, the sediment.
Yeah, the sediment. Getting a taste of that.
Okay, so this wine's not great.
But not as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
I mean, I think it's like a wine.
It's not.
Just like this was
I mean,
a book.
I'd get shit-faced with it at a wedding.
It's made.
It's not as robust.
I feel like I was definitely prepared because of the high alcohol content. I thought that I was going to take a taste of it and launch into outer space, but I've tried the canned house wine because I used to work at the co-op, so I'd go try their little wine section, and they had this house wine that someone told me it tastes just like juice. It's so dangerous. It's like 12% alcohol, tastes just like juice. So dangerous. And so I took it home, and decided I was gonna take a little sippy sip. And it definitely didn't taste like juice, and I don't know why I expected a 12% alcohol canned wine to taste like juice. It tasted like ethanol. It was supposed to be peach flavored. It was not. Anyways, but I got crunk that night. I turned up, so to speak, as the kids say nowadays. And
you're lit? Hope, they don't say turned up anymore. They say lit. Lit as fuck.
I was lit
Get with
AF. And and my boyfriend at the time came home, who did not drink. He doesn't drink because his mom was an alcoholic. And came home to me just like rolling around the apartment. It's like, oh, my arms feel like jelly. Anyways, let's see if this can do that.
Well, the more I drink it, the more I'm like okay with it.
See, I'm having the opposite. The more I drink it, the less it tastes good.
I've had 3 sips. Oh, well. Hold on. Let me try a 4th.
Here's the thing.
Oh, nope.
It gets worse.
No, it does. Nope.
It gets worse.
After the 4th sip, it gets worse.
I thought that I was doing this, like, gurgling thing as a joke.
Yeah.
And you know when they kind of swish it in their mouth? It's supposed to, like, bring out notes of whatever the fuck. It honestly made me want to die. It was really bad, and I want you both to try it. No, I really do.
I'm
I want you guys to try it.
sparkling wine.
Please, come on.
No.
I'm not a fucking professional wine taster.
You don't have to be.
Oh, wait. Let's check its legs. Let's check its legs. That's what wine tasters do. Yes.
I don't know.
You guys, you're
I don't know.
supposed to slowly swirl
I
it,
don't
not wish it around like it's a clothes washer.
I don't see any legs. I don't see any legs.
No,
White
garbage.
wine doesn't usually have
Wine is
legs.
garbage.
It doesn't usually have legs.
Garbage.
Yep, it smells like a gas station.
Oh my god. Tell us about the author.
So, USA Today bestselling author J.B. Trepigner is a huge liar. She first started lying as a child when someone asked who colored on the walls. She later went on to major in art. Oh, didn't we all?
I did.
No.
I literally did.
I'm not artistic enough to do that.
So,
Sorry.
she later went on to major in art, so they really should have framed it instead of sending her to the principal's office so many times. Wait, did she... So she drew on the walls at school? Is that what happened?
I don't understand that sentence.
Okay, well...
It doesn't make sense.
It sounds like she was
Because what is-
acting out a little bit, and she was drawing on the walls at school. She got sent to the principal's office every once in a while. When she was 14, she wrote a very large lie into several notebooks, which later became her first book, Midnight Sonata. Rather than dabbling in politics and possibly ending up in jail for lying when it counts, or under oath, JB chooses to craft elaborate lies into her Word documents and use them for entertainment rather than harm, because she is really Batman, just without all the money to fight crime. Who wrote this?
She did.
I'm assuming she did. Because it sounds like her writing.
You should have just gone to jail!
I'm looking at Midnight Sonata right now. $25 on paperback.
Paperback? Jesus fucking Christ.
He thought his heart was broken until her music healed his soul. CEO Skylar Remington's heart is broken. Literally. The discovery of potentially fatal condition has run him to ground. Avoiding the press and family concern, he goes into hiding to prepare for surgery in suburban California, where he meets a precocious young boy and his mother, a woman whose music and life make him wish his heart was whole.
Stop.
I'm not gonna continue doing this, but that's awful.
Oh, God.
It has 5 out of 5 stars.
We may have to add that
How
book
many
to our
were they?
list, you guys.
There's one. It's one review, and it's 5 out of 5.
And it was her mom. Okay, so the author has written 46 books so far, and I'm sure there's more where that came from. Peppa.
Oh man. Okay, so what does the cover look like? It's actually pretty cool looking.
Pretty neat looking.
Yeah.
It's a demon-looking lady that's covered in black and red markings. There's something on top of her head, which I think is either her hair or just a head topper. It looks like a ripoff of the Insidious monster art.
I am not wrong about that. I am not wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
It looks pretty sick. Like, it's very disappointing that
The book wasn't better.
this book cover has, like, conned people into reading it.
yeah, I'm not sure where she got the art.
Yeah.
I'm going out on a limb, and I'm going to say that she probably just got it from one of those open source art
I'm assuming
places.
so.
Actually,
online.
I want to see.
You could probably just reverse Google search the cover photo and see what comes up. It'll probably go back to an open source website.
You're saying that, like, I know how to reverse search.
Yeah. Oh, they're horns.
They're
Oh.
horns?
Horns, yeah.
They're horns.
You just can't tell because the background is black and the horns are black.
One of the peeps from Star Wars.
There's that. But do you guys remember the Insidious monster I'm talking about?
I don't ever remember watching that.
No.
Well, anybody listening knows what Insidious is and knows what I'm talking about. It's what it is.
I'm also gonna look. I can't find the photographer. Oh, it does look like the Insidious
I told
monster.
you.
Well, I haven't seen it. I don't know. So I looked it up instead.
I'm feeling it.
I'm getting warm.
Getting real warm.
Are you? I'm not.
Anyway, shall we continue?
All right, Juniper, what did the back
Okay.
of the book say?
My clients at my vet clinic have always called me an animal whisperer. I've never questioned it. Until I started hearing monsters too. A man came in right at closing with a sick dog. The dog told me why he was sick, and I was able to treat him. I had no idea his owner would kidnap me. I had no idea his owner had an entire dungeon of monsters he wanted me to treat. I've met a minotaur, a mysterious kraken, a phoenix, and this really massive spider. I can hear them too. If monsters are real and I can talk to them, then what am I?
Spoiler alert, you're apparently a princess.
No, she's not a princess, Hope. She's the daughter to a duke. Practically
Is that not
royalty.
the same?
No.
No.
Is the Duke a cousin?
No, they're like, it's like, so you have your king, your prince, and then the dukes, usually related some way to to royalty.
Like a cousin or a
So like,
aunt?
yeah, they
Dukes are-
could become king.
Dukes are basically landlords. Everybody that lives
No,
on their
that's-
land has to pay rent to them, but they also have to take care
That's-
of everybody on their land.
Those are dukes, those are earls, those are barons, viscounts, marquises, anyone with a title are given land and people that have to pay rent to them for working on the land that those people are given. Dukes are just the highest of the rank before you get to actual royalty. So, what happens at the beginning, we meet our main character, River. We don't know what she looks like. Zero description of anything.
She's just hot.
And we don't know that she's hot until, like, from another perspective in the book. Like, we have no idea what she looks like up until, like, halfway through. So, we meet River. She's a veterinarian, and she's a veterinarian because she can talk to animals.
She has no
Sound
other
enough
qualifications. She can just talk to animals.
She went to
She can
vet
just talk to
school.
animals,
She
so
talks
she'd be-
about that.
Right, she went to vet school because she can talk to animals.
It made sense.
That's the only reason why it makes sense. Makes sense. Then she's working on a Sunday, which is only for emergencies. And then she gets like this weird ass phone call. And this guy's like, "Are you open?" She's like, "Yeah, but it's only for emergencies only." And he's like, "It's an emergency." "Oh, you can bring your dog in then." "Great, I'll be there in like 2 minutes." and then like a windstorm happens or something happens, and there's like two guys with a black dog that's not feeling super great. And we don't know what any of these guys look like. They're both tall, dark, and dangerous looking.
And good looking.
Right.
Spoiler, everybody in this
That's all
book
we
is
get.
delicious looking.
They're all fucking hot. They're all hot.
You're
And
not
they all want River.
you're not allowed to be in this book unless you're fucking smoking.
Yeah. Even the guy, Hephaestus, who's supposed to not be good looking, is fucking smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Smoking hot. There's a lot of objectifying happening in this book.
Yeah, but
And
superficially, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Okay, so one of the guys, the owner of the dog, says his name is Pluton. Something like that. That's not a name.
It's a great name.
I just wanted him to be named Pluto.
It would have made so much sense because Pluto
I wonder what
was
planet he's
named
from.
after the god of the underworld.
The
god of
every
death.
time I read Pluton, I read it Pluto, so.
Yeah, it makes so much more sense. Pluton sounds like what an electron would be. Something like that.
It sounds like what an electron would be super duper sexually attracted to.
There you go. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, good one, Jennifer.
They've got to be attracted to something, am I right?
Yeah. You got your
Sexual.
electron. You got your neutron.
Your protons.
What's the positive one? Protons. Now you have your Pluton.
Which is just the sexual tension.
This is a sexual tension. And the makeup of the universe. We figured it out. The meaning of life is Pluton.
The missing link.
The missing link. The answer was never 42 to life, you guys. It was always Pluton.
Pluton the whole time.
We're probably
Oh my God.
grossly
Okay.
misunderstanding the name. I'm sure that it has some mythological origin. And we're
It
just
doesn't.
butchering it.
It doesn't. It has no relevance to Greek mythology.
Okay.
Like, River in this book says that she took Greek mythology in college for a semester. Like, that was my whole high school career, and part of my college was, like, Greek mythology. Because I liked reading about how Hera would just fuck up Zeus whenever he went out and was like, I want to bang that.
Well,
Okay.
and on that note, I felt like this entire book, I know we haven't gotten through the entire plot yet, the premise or whatever, but I felt like this entire book was just a giant high school level understanding of Greek mythology, and
I got more understanding in my high school than JB
yeah,
did,
because
apparently.
in a lot of the reviews, what you see is like, I thought this was going to be really fun. It was going to be like a cool Greek mythology kind of book, a new take on Greek mythology that could be really fun. And then they're like, but it missed the mark. And I can totally identify with that because I went into this like, oh, it's going to be a fun take, a sexy take on
Right.
Greek mythology, and then you read it, and it has a pretty shallow understanding of Greek mythology to begin with, and it doesn't really,
It just has the...
it doesn't go beyond
It's
names. There's nothing
Yeah.
like especially enthralling about the Greek mythology component.
It's the bare minimum of understanding the Greek mythology. And Greek mythology is really complicated, which makes it so interesting to like read and to learn about. And this is just so because I love mythology. I love Celtic mythology, Greek, Roman, Germanic. Like, it's all interesting to me how all these beliefs came about and like what their stories were. And this just completely shat all over it.
Yeah, so I would compare this, I would say this is akin to my expectations when I went into Aquaman versus the reality of what Aquaman was. When I
just had like this sigh of resignation on your face.
I went into Aquaman wanting it to be like a cool mashup of mythology about Atlantis. Because, frankly,
Right.
we need a little bit more Atlantis in our lore, in our life. It's one of the more,
Yeah.
one of the more interesting mythologies out there, but we don't really talk about it much. Instead, we got Jason Momoa.
Which, praise Jason Momoa.
Praise be to Jason Momoa. Oh, but okay,
We have
so
formed the religion, Jason
for
Momoa.
the fellow nerds out there, Jason Momoa went from Stargate Atlantis, even though the mythology behind Stargate Atlantis had nothing to do with any like real lore behind Atlantis. It had such intricate, interesting mythology behind the story. So he went from Stargate Atlantis to Aquaman, where Atlantis was
No, he went
just
from-
the backdrop for the action movie.
No, he went from Atlantis to Game of Thrones, Dying of Magic, then to Merman.
Okay, but I've not watched Game of Thrones. I'm not going to watch Game of Thrones.
You don't need to. No,
Yeah,
you
I'm
don't
not
need
gonna
to.
watch Game of Thrones. I pretend he wasn't in it. I know.
You don't
I know
need
it's
to.
what like shot him into the spotlight, but he really started.
He was so
He
good.
really
in it.
started on
So
Stargate
good.
Atlantis, and I think you should probably watch Stargate Atlantis, Aaron. Anyways, so
I barely just started watching Stargate.
ooh, we should have a chat about that. Anyways, so he went from this like super saturated lore in Stargate Atlantis to Aquaman, and Aquaman was just an action movie where they were under the water the whole time, and I know it's just supposed to be DC, but I don't know what I was expecting. It just wasn't that crap, and I'll die on that hill.
I'm gonna bring this back to the subject matter.
Yeah, let's.
So
Yep.
Pluton is a rock intrusion.
Yep. It's a what?
It's a rock intrusion.
It's a what?
It's an intrusion within rocks. And there's a few
I feel like
types
as
of
an
Plutons.
archaeologist, you should have already known that.
Archaeology, not geology.
Same difference. You have to know rocks.
I mean,
Right?
Yeah,
Kind of.
kind of.
You have to know the difference between a rock and a fossil, I guess.
That is paleontology. A rock and an artifact.
A rock and an artifact,
Assured.
you know, although in my geology classes, we did always lick it to see if it stuck to your tongue.
Oh, hells yeah. That is a fossil.
Oh
If
my
it
god.
sticks, it's a fossil. Don't take any deep breaths. You don't want to inhale that.
And it has
Oh
a
my
slight
God.
taste of,
The blood of my enemies.
Oh,
it's a slight
Okay.
taste of the
let's
Anthropocene.
get back.
Okay, shut up. Let's go back.
This is how badly we hated the book because we don't want to talk about
Because
it.
literally everything else is more interesting.
We will literally talk about licking rock instead of talking about this book. Okay, where did we
Talk about
end
a
off?
fucking rock instead of
She
this book.
she takes a look at the dog, right? Okay. She starts talking to the dog and asking him why he doesn't feel good. And we find out it's because Pluton has been seasoning the food with people seasonings like garlic and salt and pepper because
Onion.
he doesn't want to feed him flavorless food. So she tells Pluton to stop and gives the dog something for his upset stomach. When she figures it out and she tells Pluton what's going on, she chews him out for feeding his dog food with human seasonings that could kill his dog. Okay, and then Pluton was like, great, thanks for telling me. And then he knocks her out and kidnaps her.
So he doesn't even ask how she
How
knew
does he knock
that?
her out again? He already knew. We find out later on in the book he already knew that she could talk to animals. That's why he went to her in the first place.
How much I paid attention. I did the speed read.
Yeah.
I did the speed read for this whole fucking thing. If I couldn't keep up, I didn't know what was happening.
Look at all of my tabs. I ran out of 3 sticky note tab
Aaron, you wasted
holder
so
thingies.
much money on that
3.
hardback or that paperback book.
Look, I credit where credit's due. She wrote a bad book, but she published it. Okay, she deserves some compensation, and she's only getting like 20% anyways. It's all going to Amazon, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm using my Kindle next time because I don't.
The next one isn't on Kindle.
Do that.
FYI, we have to order it.
Oh,
I think it's $1.99 for paperback.
Instantaneously, is it $1.99?
Yeah, what did I say?
Paperback.
I'm not wrong.
Book.
Which paper?
All books are made of paper.
Part of the construction of the book, but the technical term is paperback.
Thank you for that. Keep going.
Juniper, are you already
Oh
drunk?
my god, we hate this book so much. We do not want to talk about it.
What's next on the agenda?
Look, okay, let's see. So then River wakes up in a room. Okay. The author, this is what drove me nuts. All right, and like when it was like a paragraph after another paragraph, she described the room that she's in as ornate, fairy tale, and like fantasy. Those were the only descriptors we got of what the room looked like. I had no visualization to help me figure out like what does this room look like? What does she feel like? Like what am I supposed to be experiencing?
Well, that's a common
Like it made me so mad.
That's a common theme throughout the book. Everything is so surface level that it's just
everything is told to you. It's told to you. You don't experience it. You don't feel it. You can't see it. Like,
well, she doesn't describe
you don't
anything.
Smell it. No, and it's so infuriating.
Really takes you out of the book.
It does. Sorry, Steven just texted me that him and his wife and his new baby made it home safe. So, if you ever listen to this, congratulations, Steven, on your baby boy, John. Wee! You made it to fatherhood.
And your baby is not ugly, which you cannot say about most babies.
Most babies are ugly. That's a pretty cute baby.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
And I hate kids. I hate babies.
Yeah, I hate babies.
I'm a baby hater.
Babies are gross. I had to babysit a few babies in my time. Cleared that right up for me. That's why I waited to have sex till I was older, because I didn't want a fucking baby when I was like ever.
You want amazing birth control? Become a lifeguard.
Yeah. Become a lifeguard. Be a swim instructor for these monsters. You will never want to have children. There's only two camps. You either will never have children ever because you've experienced that, or you always wanted kids, and it just established in your psyche that you will forever love the idea of having children despite what you have been through. And God bless those people. They're keeping this world populated.
Yeah, no, I think it's really, if someone wants to have a baby, I think congratulations to them, you know? I think it's exciting for them. And as long as it's not mine, great.
My 2 cents on the matter.
Oh my God,
is
I
that
really...
there's so many kids that don't have homes. Why make your own when you can just get one that's on the...
Juniper, you disappeared into the background. I couldn't see you for a while.
Anyways, let's continue on about this book we hate.
Oh my God. Okay, where did I leave
The
off?
most
Okay,
environmentally friendly thing you can do is not have children. I want everyone to know that. The most environmentally friendly thing you can ever do is not have another child. You can go foster, you can adopt, you can do whatever. Anyways.
Or if you want your own kid, make sure you source them reliably. Sourceably? I don't know. I'm drunk.
It's called zero
Environmentally.
population growth. It means you only have one child that will take over for you, take your place in the world, and you'll have another child to take your spouse's or partner's place in the world. Zero population growth.
No, I only do fair trade.
We're not
children.
here. Okay.
Fair trade is the way to go.
We only source fair trade
Okay.
children here.
If not direct trade.
We only
Not as
support
good as
fair
direct
trade here.
mind you, but we support fair trade children here.
If that baby does not have a stamp
Locally
of a
sourced
frog
children
on its
only.
butt, it's not good enough for me.
If you didn't go to the co-op or your local, what's it called? Co-op.
Farmers market.
to get your children
Locally grown.
Locally grown, locally sourced. All the people.
We're done. We're not talking about this anymore. We're done.
All the people. If there's any people listening to this are like, what's more local than my fucking loins?
That is locally sourced for sure.
Organic.
Oh
as
my.
fuck.
Okay.
Okay.
We're done.
Okay.
We're moving on. Okay.
Okay.
We hate this book.
We really don't want to talk about this. So she wakes up in a room. No one knows what it looks like. The dog she took care of is now 3-headed and named Cerberus. And Pluton walks in and introduces himself as Hades. River gets so mad that he kidnapped her that she punches him in the face. And he says that he deserved it. And Cerberus tells River that he's surprised that Hades doesn't kill her right then and there. Because that's what Hades does, apparently.
He is king of the underworld.
Oh, God, I hate this book so much. Also, this is, like, another thing that plays throughout the story is that River is supposed to be, like, this really strong, independent, takes no shit kind of female, but there's no shit for her to not take.
Well,
You know what I mean?
it's
Like,
just-
there's no...
She's super comfortable.
Other than being taken by Hades.
She's super comfortable being manhandled for sure.
Yeah.
What is it called? Like Beauty and the Beast.
I had to
and
refill my
Stockholm
glass.
syndrome.
Stockholm
Syndrome?
I always want to call it Munchausen for some reason.
I
I
don't
always want
think
to call
she's-
it Sherlock syndrome.
That's completely different. I wouldn't even call it Stockholm.
She was just like totally
Because
okay
she's-
with what
she
was
doesn't-
going on.
Immediately.
Yeah. She was like, I don't want to take care of his monsters. He tells her that he kidnaps her because his monsters are forced to fight and that they're stuck in their monster forms because Demeter, who is his wife's mother, so his mother-in-law, put a collar around the monster's neck that was made by Hephaestus, who is stuck in the mountain. So what happens, we learn within the first 5 chapters, is Demeter kidnapped Persephone, Hades' wife, because during one of Persephone's visits, because Persephone didn't want to leave Hades, and Demeter hates Hades for some god-awful reason. I don't remember. It's different in the book than it is in the myth.
Yeah, and I just want to say
Like-
right now, I've
I don't
only
know.
ever seen Persephone written, and for my entire life have been saying Persephone. So
It's Persephone.
I've definitely just been saying Persephone.
It's not Persephone.
No, Hope and I had that conversation the other night.
Thank you for that clarification. I've been reading, if anybody hasn't, a fantastic webtoon is Lore of Olympus, and for the entirety of Lore of Olympus, I've been calling the main character Persephone. Fuck me. This isn't the first time it's been one of those situations where I've only read something and not known how it's said out loud, and then been embarrassed about how I say it. So...
I mean, but it's one of those things where you've never heard it said out loud, so how would you know?
It doesn't keep anyone from laughing at me. Like, what is it? AWOL Nation?
Hope, weren't you in the myth class with me, the Greek mythology
Bitch, I took
class?
science fiction class. I didn't take mythology.
Oh, never mind. That was someone else. Sorry.
Yeah, I took science fiction because it's better.
Her name's Persephone.
Well, I've been calling her Persephone. I also called AWOL Nation, the band, Owl Nation for a long time.
Yeah.
So...
Is that not how
I
you
think
say
it's AWOL. I got laughed at because I said Owl Nation, and then an ex was like, "You idiot! It's AWOL Nation," because his dad went AWOL or some shit like that. I don't know. That's for
What?
another therapy visit.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever
Let's
heard.
moving on.
Okay, so Demeter forces the monsters to have them put the collars on themselves because she threatened to kill Persephone in front of them. So then she kidnapped her, and this is where
Also,
we're
I
at.
thought that Demeter
So
was
once he-
Demeter.
You know what? I'm gonna call them that from now on. They're no longer Persephone or Demeter. It's now
Persephone.
Demeter.
And Demeter. Okay. Once Hades explains the sitch, as Kim Possible would say, I'm sorry. I think I'm drunk now. We meet Hemon, the Minotaur, Pavlina, a Black Widow, Demos, a Phoenix, and Tryphon, a Kraken. So Hades tells River that he wants to make their imprisonment more comfortable, and if River could talk to them and ask them what they needed to feel more comfortable.
Aww.
Oh, I guess she doesn't find out. And well, it's very nice of him, right?
Kidnapped someone and then imprisoned all these monsters. What a great guy. I think I'll stay here.
He didn't imprison them.
It was
Demeter imprisoned them.
Also, I've always said it Kraken,
Demeter.
not Kraken. I kid.
You cannot be serious.
I'm joking. Aaron, get it together.
Oh my god, I was scream laughing. I had to take my microphone away from my mouth. Oh my god, my abs hurt. Creaking. I think that's your Minnesotan accent coming out.
It's a Midwestern accent, Aaron. I expect you to say sorry
Same
about
difference.
that.
Sorry, and you better not make fun of my Kraken. And Dimitri.
Oh my god, okay. Demeter.
Demeter. Persephone, get over here, Demeter.
Okay.
Oh my god. This is how badly we don't want to talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, this is hard.
Oh, fuck, where was I? Oh. Okay, so it's after she gets introduced to the monsters that Hades explains everything to her. Demeter also captured the other monsters, so all the monsters that were killed by the demigods are in the underworld, right? Or Tartarus. And so she makes them fight to the death against each other. And her first night there is Kimon's fight. And so River and Hades goes to watch. And Kimon has to fight against a friend that he doesn't want to kill, but it's between him and, oh god, and his friend. Okay.
And they're fighting to the death because of what?
The rumors of the call. Okay, so there's rumors that the callers. Demeter. It's Demeter, Juniper.
Demeter.
So Demeter. I keep trying to. I think her name correctly, but I'm saying it incorrectly, and it's messing me up.
You're welcome.
So Demeter told the monsters that if they didn't fight, the collars will blow up. So they can't. So the collars doesn't allow the monsters to use their magic or transform back into their human form. They're stuck in their monster form. And River's the only one that can talk to them because they can only talk to each other in their minds. Okay. So that is the beginning to like the middle end of the book.
So at this point in the book, Kimon's fighting a monster he's friends with. He doesn't want to prolong the fight because River is watching and he kills his monster friend. Also, River is given a pendant by which to help cover up her magical half so that Demeter can't sense it if the two women ever run into each other. After the fight, River lets Kimon borrow her shower to clean up after the fight. I just want to say...
Yeah, this is the scene you were talking about, right, Juniper?
One of the problems that I have with this book is that, first of all, it doesn't really describe anything, right? We've talked about that already. But it...
Right. You know, she doesn't... What I was going to say when it came to the fight scene, she didn't, like, build up the tension. She didn't, like, build up, like, the anger and the frustration. Like, what does the arena look like? What does it smell like? What is she hearing? Like, what am I supposed to be experiencing? Because you're going to put something in the first person. Like, it's even more important to put those descriptors in.
Yeah, all we really know is that who he's fighting against is a giant. That's all we know. And that he's a friend. That's it.
Yeah.
And probably fuckable.
That's all we know. Probably.
According to
they
this
all
lady,
are.
Sure as shit.
I just didn't get...
I mean...
Her apartment, I'm doing quotes here, is directly, like, adjacent to the dungeon, and then...
I don't know the location of anything.
Yeah,
like, is it
like
down the hall? Because it says, like, her room is in a castle.
Like on the same level. She just... My point...
Like, her room's, like...
My point is...
Or is it, like, down below?
My point is, first of all, that the monsters are allowed to freely roam, and like because they're always in her room somehow, and
no, it's just Kimon and Demos.
It's
pretty sure they all wanted to fuck her.
No, they all want to fuck her, but the only two that can fit in her room is Kimon and Demos in their monster forms. Trifon is a huge fucking crack, and he says he won't be able to fit. Pavlina's butt's too big to get in there.
The most important parts in.
Okay, Jesus.
I paid way too much attention to this book. Like, it pisses me off.
My point is that she sucks at describing, but coincidentally, the room is close enough that anybody can get in. Close enough to the dungeons, and then the dungeons are obviously close to the fighting arena. But it really takes you out of the storytelling when she just doesn't describe anything. Like, the only thing that I can, like, compare it to is, like, a 2D picture. She just doesn't do anything with what she has.
Because it's all a lie, remember?
I wouldn't call it a 2D picture. I'd call it, it's like the beginning of it's like this first sketch.
Which is 2D.
Right? It's, you have the outlines. But 2D could be colored in. Could have 2D those dimensions.
Specifically does not have
the
those
lighting
dimensions.
And stuff. This is why I failed art. Because I did not pay attention.
I just mean it's so basic.
Yes, you can fail art.
Nuh-uh.
I did.
How the fuck did you fail art?
Yeah.
You didn't fail, otherwise you wouldn't have graduated.
You didn't turn in your assignments, did you?
I did. No, I did. They were just so fucking bad. The art teacher asked me to not come to his class the next year.
I refuse to believe you. No.
I did. He did. Like, it's not me hating on my own artwork, you guys. Like, the art teacher in high school told me to not sign up for his class.
That's amazing.
Next semester. He was kind of a dick,
ever
though.
Pleasant to me.
No, that's because you guys are good at art.
After the fight, River lets Kimon borrow her shower to clean up after the fight. This is the first scene where River is oogling after Kimon after he steps out of the shower. Just because he has the head of a bull doesn't mean he doesn't have a human body.
Oh my god.
Wait. Hey, sorry, I read that wrong.
Doesn't mean his human body isn't hot.
Doesn't mean his human body isn't hot, right?
I hate that so much.
Demos gets mad and accidentally sends a spark at River. But it doesn't bother her. She said that fire never bothered her. Demos flies out of her room.
Never bothered me anyway.
Just kind of like the cold never bothered me anyways.
Demos flies out of her room real quick because he's afraid of her. They later find out that she can produce green fire, but they don't know any monster that can produce that kind of fire. This scares Demos even more, so he flies away from her. We also learn that at this point in the story, everyone thinks River is hot, except for Hades. And he wants... except for Hades.
That's supposed...
And he wants to do. What is... And he wants...
They want to do her. That's not bad.
Can't be.
They want
Hades
to do
has
her. Hades
Persephone.
does not want... Hades does not want... Persephone. Who needs a woman named River when you have a woman named Persephone? Yeah, I'm editing it.
So
I know.
they all want their collars off so they can each seduce her. The monsters learn that Hades is going to send scouts out to find out where Persephone is. Persephone. So River has this great idea to sneak Deimos out because he's the best scout ever. So come on, Cerberus, and River sneak. Sorry. So come on, Cerberus, and River sneak Deimos out without telling Hades. Later that evening, Hades comes down to the jail and finds out that Deimos is missing. River tells him that he's scouting because the other scouts would have been found, and then Demeter would know what Hades is doing.
Oh my god.
Also, she gets mad that Hades won't tell her what she is because her biological father wants to tell her himself and is trying to get permission to visit the underworld. We also learn that River has the power to find missing items or missing information
because
when
he's
asked
in
a
hell.
specific question. Then Hades tells them, what?
Isn't that the dumbest thing ever?
All
Isn't
of her
the dumbest
powers
thing ever?
are fucking stupid. She really
She's
is.
a total Mary Sue. I don't, like, David and I were talking about this. I was like, it would have been cool if there was, like, an extent to her powers. Like, you could ask her anything except, like, about herself. Like, if you asked her who your dad is, and then she, like, does that weird thing she does with her eyes, and she's like,
yeah.
Cannot answer.
It's like a magic 8-ball.
Because she can't answer things about herself. Yeah! She's a fucking magic 8-ball. Please concentrate harder. Ask again later.
Yeah, I think that a lot of books kind of fall into that trap where, like, they start writing themselves into a corner because at a certain point, what can't the main character do, right? And in these books, it's always... The books are always working up to this giant climax where the main character is the only one, but they struggle for whatever reason the entire time. Like, and then finally the climax happens, and the main character just destroys everything, and they do what they're supposed to do. But the entire book was about how they could do literally everything and nothing at the same time. Yeah.
A Mary Sue. A Mary Sue is a character that
it's like,
can
so
literally
there's
do
this
everything,
book
and there's no
series that
repercussions.
I absolutely love, and I'm forgetting the author right now, but the book series is called Poison Study, and the first book is chef's kiss, brilliant, beautiful, different than anything you've ever read, and it's just
yeah, I don't think you can watch a book.
but
well, I mean, I guess you could watch a book.
So the first book is immaculate. There's nothing wrong with it. Loved it so much. And then the second book, it starts being super, just like you said, the main character turns into a Mary Sue. And not that the book isn't enjoyable after that, but to a certain extent, you're sitting there like, well, what can't the main character do? And it gets really annoying and tedious. Yeah.
Yeah. It becomes boring. That character is no longer
and it's
an
definitely
imperfect human anymore.
Tragedy as far as, like, the storytelling goes, because the plot is so original and so great.
Yeah.
And then the main character, it's...
And then
I think
read
it's a trap that a lot of authors fall into.
And I think that's what a lot of authors forget, is, like, your character should be flawed. There should be something that costs them that perfection. You know what I meant? You know what I mean? Like, that power.
Yeah.
So, and there's I don't think... So, like, I think it'd be interesting, like, the more River uses her power, the more her demon side consumes her human side. You know, that's the cost of using her power. It's not just strictly like half human, half demon.
Little Miss,
like there's a cost.
Half human, demon, hot, perfect.
Can do everything. Yeah.
Yeah, can do everything. Exactly. Like there's a cost to her power. I mean, maybe there's something like that in the second book. I don't want to fucking read it, but maybe there's something in the second book where it's like that.
Highly doubt.
But I doubt it
too. I looked up the Poison Study series just because I wanted to get the author, and it's by Maria V. Snyder, and I highly suggest people checking out the Poison Study series because it's excellent.
You know what? But
Marissa Myers
really
wrote the Lunar Chronicles.
I super enjoyed Winnie the Pooh.
You know what? Let's leave our suggestions to the end of this.
I think it has a lot of life lessons. And it's really eloquent in, especially the main character, Pooh.
Oh, bother. Oh, bother.
Oh my god.
I'm out of honey.
Oh, bother.
River tells him that he's scouting because other scouts would have been found, and then Demeter... I can't fucking say that name anymore.
Demeter! Say it wrong, Juniper. It's Demeter.
Say it anymore.
Demeter.
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 My name is Demeter.
Demeter Jimmy Jones.
Stop it, you're confusing my brain. She gets mad that Hades won't tell her what she is because her biological father wants to tell her himself and is trying to get permission to visit the underworld. We also learn that River has the power to find missing items or missing information when asked a specific question. Then Hades tells them that Deimos is supposed to fight Harpy, so Pavlina is fighting it instead. So Pavlina fights the Harpy that cheated on her and kills her because the Harpy asked her to.
What a clusterfuck.
The problem with this book, and honestly,
oh my god,
this book could have been written in 50 pages.
It could have been a short story. It would have worked fine. I don't know why she's... If you're not going to be... So the whole point of a novel is to be descriptive, right? You're supposed you give time to build characters. You give time to build the world and the rules. I just got distracted by something shiny on my wall. You guys go ahead and
The thing
talk.
with this book is that it has zero description. It's so superficial, and everything is so fast. Everything is so superficial. Everything is so past-paced. Okay. Fast. Everything is so fast-paced and choppy, and it takes forever to get anywhere. But at the same time, nothing happens.
It doesn't... The action happens, but you're just like a passerby. Like, you're not even a bystander in the story. Like, you're not even stopping to watch it. Like, you're literally just walking by as it happens, and then
from
it's
the
done.
bullet train, and that's it. I'm amazed this book is so long.
Right, it just zooms by.
Oh my god, it's too long. It's
I'm not.
And to piggyback off of what's already been said, my big comment for this entire book, and probably a lot of the books that we're going to read for this series, that the cadence and rhythm of all of the writing was completely off. And we also saw this when Juniper and I stuck it into Word to check what the readability level was, which was 3.3. So someone with a third or fourth grade level understanding is presumably supposed to be able to understand what's going on. Also, what we learned from sticking it into Word, which isn't the end-all be-all, obviously, But what we also learned was that Microsoft and any other like Grammarly or whatever had a huge issue with the way this book was written. And
Hope, we're not even done talking about what happens. We haven't even made it down to like our final thoughts.
God. Hurry the fuck up.
Don't get there yet. Fine.
Oh my
Talk
god,
about
she
what
meets
happens
her
at the
dad
end,
and he's
Hope.
a duke.
That's not what happens.
We meet Demeter after the fight to see why Demos wasn't fighting. River puts on a show asking Demeter for help. She whispers to Demeter that she wants to talk to...
It's Hephaestus. I spelled his name like 10 different ways.
Hephaestus?
But it's Hephaestus.
The guy who made the monster collars
It's
to make her a tool
Hephaestus.
to kill Hades so she can escape him and go back home. Demeter tells her that she'll pick River up in 3 days. Demeter picks up River and they go to Hephaestus's mountain. Also, Hephaestus is hot, like everyone else. He didn't know have had too much to drink to read this. Also, wait, he didn't know the collars would work and only to keep them in their monster forms. But they can do everything else. He gives River a vial to help break the magic on the collars, but it's only enough for 10 monsters. River also gets a walkie-talkie because Hephaestus is now helping because he says it's his fault. Also, he gave her a knife to stab Demeter. She's done there, and she shows Demeter's army lady her knife. Demeter then shows up with Hellhound. The Hellhound is from River's dad's realm and is wanting to help. Demeter returns River back to the underworld, saying that she'll return in 3 days. And she pours the liquid in the vial, and all the monsters turn into hot people.
Why
I don't know, I was trying to do Midwestern.
Look, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry that we are making this story sound
It's
interesting.
not.
It's really not. It's
Demeter
not
returns
this
back to the
interesting.
underworld, saying that she'll return in 3 days, and she pours the liquid in the vial, and all the monsters turn into hot people. River's dad shows up. His name is Barbatos, the Duke of Hell. So she's half demon royalty, and that's where the book ends.
Actually, the book ends like this. Wait, what?
No. I have it. It literally ends with this. My dear, I'm Barbados, a Duke of Hell. Not only are you half demon, but you are also demon royalty. Say what now?
Okay, sorry.
Who knew that Barbados was
That's how
the
it
demon royalty? Barbados?
Barbados.
Like
Barbados.
Barbados, like barbecue.
Barbados. It's a T.
Barbados?
Barbados.
Barbados?
It's Barbados.
Marmaduke?
Barbados.
Okay.
I think you guys are about as drunk as I was last time.
All right, let's talk about what we wrote down.
What did we like about the book? I said the story concept itself
Sons of
is
bitches.
very interesting. If it had been written better, it would have been an awesome story. Because who doesn't like a Greek mythology based story? Because this could have been really
I guess.
interesting. Very disappointed.
The main problem that I have is I didn't think the plot was that interesting. I thought it was, I'm going to say this word
Yeah.
over and over again, but everything about it, even the plot, was super superficial.
No, I totally agree. Everything was super superficial. So
Yeah, bare bones.
I think the attraction to this story is the Greek mythology and the lore behind it. But I think that's all that attracts people to this. So it's kind of a trap because you come for the Greek mythology and then you read it and you're just a little bit upset.
And disappointed.
And really disappointed because it had potential to be good it just wasn't. And I think if the author had taken more time to really, really flesh out the plot and
the characters.
The characters and the story, I think it could have been better. I think all in all, the pieces just weren't there because all she had was Greek mythology.
Barely any Greek mythology.
Like, barely. High school level. And that's all she had. The author had. So, I don't know how this could have been better. I think bare bones, the premise is okay.
Yeah.
I compared this to a university textbook. Not an interesting textbook, like a organic chemistry textbook.
Juniper, I would have rather read my microbiology textbook over this book. This was more boring than my microbiology textbook.
I would have rather read the textbook my professor assigned to us because they wrote it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I also compared this book to Bad Sex.
Should have been some foreplay. You know what I mean? They should have toyed with us. They should have flirted with us. They should have, gotten us interested. Like start getting us hot and bothered.
They went in dry.
He didn't.
They went in dry.
This person has never heard of foreplay. They just shoved it right up in there without any preparation of any kind.
It's like sticking a tampon in and taking it out way too early. Oof. It just hurts.
I felt that.
Oh, man. And there was no climax.
There wasn't. There wasn't.
There wasn't.
There wasn't even...
No build-up, no climax.
No foreplay, no build-up, no climax.
It was bad.
There wasn't even... it's supposed to be, a sexy book. And it wasn't.
Well, and it kept calling it a harem.
And I get it because all the monsters are in love with River, so it is. Because all the monsters want to be with her, and she wants to be with all of them, so I get that. But where's the sexy times?
This is me not understanding harems and kink and anything like that. But this is what I was expecting.
Okay.
Boning.
There should have been boning, yeah.
There should have been. It would have made so much more.
There should have been an orgy of some kind. You know what I'm saying?
Because at least then you could say, oh, this is like a sexy harem Greek mythology book. But instead we got this.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no payoff.
Zero payoff.
No climax.
And the one sexy moment when Kimon came out of the shower was very uncomfortable for me to read. And I don't understand why it was uncomfortable for me to read. But I think it was because I don't know, the way she talks about it, so factual and unfeeling.
Let me tell you why.
Tell me why. Tell me why, Juniper. I want you to whisper it in my ear.
Because it tiptoed on bestiality.
Ew, don't make wet sounds in my ear. Fucking sicko.
No, seriously though. This is the thing. I thought about this a lot.
Okay.
Look, some people might like interspecies loving.
Yeah.
But for me, it makes it really uncomfortable because what are monsters except for animals?
Right.
And if humans are fucking animals, what is it but bestiality? And then, okay, but here's the thing. I don't want to tread on anybody's
Little toesies. I think... Do you think if they had been say if it was a were-kraken, would that have been better?
I mean, he technically is,
Like-
right? Because he changes from Kraken to human.
Yeah.
But not when the moon is out.
But I mean, like, it's still
Also,
the same
she's,
thing.
she's definitely, like, sexually attracted to their animal forms. Like,
Yeah.
full
yeah.
stop. She is sexually attracted to his tenties.
They feel real good on her legs and her waist.
I don't think she was ever sexually attracted to the Kraken. She was definitely sexually attracted to the Minotaur.
Oh, yeah, because he was the only one that had, like,
He
a
has a
part of
human
his human
body.
body. Right? Because all it,
Yeah.
the
Well,
only
but
thing
his
that he had
face
was the bullhead. The rest of
Yeah.
him was human. So there was nothing animal in the parts that matter. That makes me feel really gross to say that.
Which is also pretty, it's convenient
yeah.
that he can be in his animal form and still fuck.
So let's decide right now. Is this book a satire, or was the author actually trying to
No.
write a good book?
No, they were trying to write a good book.
Okay.
They were trying to write a good book, and their writing style hasn't evolved past their 14-year-old lying phase.
You mean their grade school lying phase?
They failed at a 3rd grade level.
Yeah. So instead of picking 3 favorite quotes, I picked 3 quotes I hated the most, and I picked randomly because I hated all of it. I want to start on page 1, which is page 9, chapter 1, page 9, which is funny because there's not 8 pages before this page. So I picked the very first partial paragraph, which is, Sunday could always go 2 ways. I could either make sure I was well stocked on inventory, or it could be a total disaster and I ended up sleeping at the clinic. I don't know what that means. Can either of you tell me what that means?
Can you repeat that? I was trying to find it, and then I got caught up because there's a book called My Antifa Lover, which has been suggested to me on my Kindle.
Can we add
I
that
was
to our
checking
list?
that out. It looks promising.
We'll add it to the list.
Anyway,
The first quote. I
don't-
put it in the outline. Hope you can read that. I don't know what it means.
I don't think she knows what that means.
Sunday could go either ways. It's either dead and nothing happens, or it's super busy and everything happens. It doesn't go with
Yeah, but
inventory.
saying you're well stocked doesn't mean anything.
No.
Like they're two
Or it
separate
could be a total disaster.
sentences that don't make sense together.
And the second quote I hated. I knew the right direction to go, but I had to find a way to question the scary man without tipping him off. I knew personal details I couldn't possibly know. If you knew the right direction to go, why did you have to find a way to question this scary man?
Part of the problem with this book is that she has all these Mary Sue attributes.
Yeah.
But uses them not helpfully. And she's also really stupid.
She's real dumb.
She's stupid.
Okay, my last quote that I hate is from Kamon's perspective. We didn't have a choice.
Come on.
I hate all these characters. He says, we didn't have a choice. We could fight each other, or Persephone would die. I'd been her bodyguard since she came to the underworld. I never kept her captive here. She wanted to be here. I was protecting her from people who were sympathetic to Demeter and would kidnap her. They all say this every time they have a chapter. Everyone says this. Every chapter, and it drives me nuts. Drives me nuts!
One of the things that I hated about this book was I couldn't tell what character was talking at what time unless they explicitly said, obviously, I'm Demeter.
I'm Demeter. Right.
Because everybody's personality, everybody's, like, cadence while they were talking was exactly the same.
Their voice is the
And
same.
the-
Demeter, and I'm here to say, Persephone's a bitch and Hades my man.
No. Demeter hates Hades.
I'm Demeter, and I'm here to say Persephone's cool, and I don't think Hades deserves her.
Demeter is Persephone's mom.
One of the hardest things in this book is that basically every chapter was exactly the same in cadence and in character. What do you even call that? Like, personality. Everything was exactly the same. And it seemed to me like I was reading an organic chemistry book. I literally fell asleep reading this book. I've never done that before with books that I like. This book was so fucking boring.
So, anybody out there who has trouble sleeping, consider this author. It's better than sleeping pills. Put me right to sleep. I consistently stay up until 5, 6 a.m., but not when I read this. Put me right to bed. Just like Zoloft.
Oh my god.
Why would you need prescription medication when you have this author?
This is not ASMR time. Do that on your own podcast.
Listen to this pancake. Listen. Oh,
I hate it. Ew, it's wet sounding. Ew. I am not an ASMR person. Like, that stuff does not feel good to me.
Well, you know what does feel good? Reading this author's work.
You know what else
puts you right to sleep.
You know what else feels good, Hope?
What feels good, Erin?
Other user reviews.
User reviews, huh? Why don't we get on that?
Yeah, I think we all know we don't recommend this book, eh?
What did I say? So, under the question, do we recommend this book? No, this book was like bad sex. You expect build-up and climax, but you got nothing but needing a shower and disappointment.
And falling asleep. Just like Zoloft.
It was like the author just left it together and sent it out to be published without really building up the characters. No one has an arc except maybe Demos, because he has to fall in love with River so they can fuck.
Because even Microsoft Word didn't like the way this was written.
The only character development in this book is that they thought River was hot and they wanted to cuddle her. Every single one. Except for the Kraken. He wanted
a naked swim.
in the water with her.
Yeah, he wanted a naked swim. Oh, they also called her Baby
Side effects
Bird.
may include death.
Warning. Caution. Sex may include death. Enjoy your naked swimming.
If you like hentai, I think you would really like this book.
Bitch, it's hentai!
If you like hentai, I think you would really enjoy this book.
No, you wouldn't. Because there's no hentai.
How would I know what I don't know.
Side effects may include boredom and death.
Okay, Hope, what are the other user reviews? What did people...
To be fair, most of the user reviews had good things to say about this book for whatever reason.
No, it was 50-50. People hated it and were really disappointed in it, or they really liked it for some reason. Probably because they could read it really fast and it's only at about a 3rd grade level.
That's true.
I didn't read it fast. This literally took me the entire 2 weeks to read this bullshit.
Yeah, it was hard to get through because it was boring.
I'm on my 3rd wine.
The main theme that I saw throughout the Amazon reviews specifically was they either thought that it was a pretty decent book and gave it a good review,
What a bunch of
or
bastards.
they agreed that it was pretty boring and that they were interested specifically because of the Greek mythology components. but then were seriously let down. And that was
Yeah.
the big overarching theme. And also a lot of people pointed out that it sounded like it was written by a third grader.
Cool.
There was a lot
Smart.
of DNFs,
What?
which if you don't know what that stands for, it stands for did not finish.
Oh.
So there was a lot, when I was looking through the user reviews, it was like DNF 3%, meaning they read 3% of the book on Kindle and did not finish.
Yeah.
Smart.
One of the user reviews that we have in here by Tabitha, it's 2 stars, but they clarify it's 2.5 stars in the review. It says, misleading cover. Did not fit book at all, but it conned me into borrowing it on Kindle Unlimited. This story is a rushed job. The plot points just popped out of nowhere. The story was poorly told, and it was all superficial. I don't know about you, but if I found out I had powers, I would try more than just one time to make them work. I would keep at it to perfect it all, especially after being abducted and forced into a role of savior of sorts. Just missed the marks and lost common sense.
Which we all know.
Which I think that fits what we've been saying in a nutshell.
Yeah, if I found out that I could talk to dogs, animals, I'd be pretty... I'm drunk now. I'm on my 3rd glass of wine. I'm like halfway through.
That's too much.
I'm by myself. I'm not sharing this space with anybody, okay? David's not here to revel with me in my pain. Okay? He's outside enjoying
We're such
himself.
rebel rousers.
Living his life. As a partner, he gets an A. He enables my bad behavior. Anyways, I agree, Hope. I lost my train of thought because I'm drunk now.
Yeah, so I guess I'll correct myself and say it was about 50-50 on the user review portion of this. 50% of people have no taste and liked this, and 50% have common sense and disliked it. No offense.
I guess what I would want to say to the people who like it is why.
Like, what about this do you like?
Yeah, what about this book do you actually like? Is it that it was super easy to read?
Did you read any
and
of
you
the
got
5
to the
stars?
end really quickly?
One more review to just drive it home.
One more review.
One more.
All right.
It's a 2-star.
Drive it home, Hope. Okay.
2-star review by Bankton Love 242.
Yep.
The title is Mediocre Execution, which is understating it.
Yeah.
Can someone please explain what the majority of these reviews are talking about? The writing is simple and mediocre. Characters have no depth nor development. Plot is unstable at best. Everyone magically loves the female main character without hesitation or reason, etc. Description of the setting is non-existent. The only thing we know about her room is that it looks like something out of a fairy tale, and we don't know what kind of castle she's staying in. Hell, we never even got a proper description of what the female main character looks like. I hate when a book has a good premise only to have horrible execution. This was written like a middle school essay. What makes it worse is that the reviews swear up and down that this book is amazing. Like, what? 2 stars only because I like the cover art.
Who wrote this review?
A beautiful, magical person.
Thank you for writing this review, a beautiful, magical person. Because this is everything we have been saying. There's no characters. There's no development. There's no setting. There's no world building. There's no description.
Mm-hmm.
There's no personality.
Bankton Love
Anyone.
242, you summed up everything we could have possibly said about this book in a paragraph.
We should have just read the outline of the story and then just ended with that.
Wouldn't
And
it
it
be
would have
funny
been-
if our podcast was just that person's comment or review on it and that
Yes.
was it?
It'd only be 5 minutes long and then we'd be done.
Hey, so pretty much this sums it up. Thank you so much for this, reviewer. Yeah, next week we're gonna read...
So the next book we're reading is called Midnight Sins, which is part of the Callahan series, book 1. And it is written by Laura Lee. We will talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Who Wrote This Shit. Our cover art is by our very own Jennifer. The intro and outro music is by Riley Tennyson. The editing is by Aaron and Hope. And you can follow us on Instagram at girlsbook3. If you have book recommendations, feel free to email us at girlsbook3@gmail.com. If you like the show, please rate, review, and share.